China has been very known for its unique culture. That's why a lot of researchers, students, and tourists became very fascinated with the historical background and root of this culture. Chinese history and culture have undergone a huge of change from places, food, clothes, belief, people, government types, art, structure of the building, etc. According to one of the articles, Chinese history and culture was distinguished during Xia Dynasty. But there is debate whether the Xia Dynasty was myth or reality. In 1959, archaeologists discovered the remains of stone palace that described as being part of the capital of the Xia Dynasty. They also discovered the root of bronze tools, decorative objects, tombs, and more. In 2011, archaeologists discovered a huge palace that was built during the Xia Dynasty. Xia Dynasty started around 2070 to 16,000 BC. It is the first dynasty in Chinese history and lasted nearly 500 years, including the reign of 17 emperors. Xia Dynasty is thought to have been founded by Yu the Great. According to one of the articles, his parent was a woman who came from Yushin clan and a man named Gun. Yu was a famous leader of China known for his flood control technique and establishing the Xia Dynasty. First, one of the emperors named Shun appointed Yu's father to control the flood that killed many people. Yu's father tried for 9 years to stop the flooding, but every year the flood grew stronger and people killed. After Gun gone, Emperor Shun appointed Yu to complete the work and stop the flooding. His project lasted for 13 years. After the water problem had been solved, Emperor Shun was proud of Yu and placed him in the army. Yu won in many wars, and Emperor Shun named him as his successor. Yu's rule is considered the beginning of the Xia Dynasty. Yu was one of the few leaders in China honored with the title the Great. Yu married to a woman and they became the parent of a son named Qi. During Xia Dynasty, Yu the Great built his kingdom at Yangcheng, now located at Dengfeng, Henan province. During this dynasty, many achievements were made. First was stopping the flood. As I mentioned before, Gun's mission of controlling the flood lasted for 9 years. The attempt of Gun was to build a defense and effective barrier to prevent and control the flood. But in the end, they still failed their goal since the flood became stronger and more uncontrollable. Because of Gun's failure, Yu the Great was motivated to continue his further attempt to stop the flooding. The method and technique of Yu were different from his father. The method used by Gun was to build a block that will redirect the path of the water to stop the flood, but since it's a fail, Yu tried different methods. The first step that Yu considered was asking help from other tribes. He brings people from other tribes to come together and order them to lend him a hand in solving this mission by building canals in all the major rivers around China, which will redirect the water in the sea that preventing it from flooding to the farm. The prevention of the flood led to the growth of the crops that was destroyed by the flood. The other achievement was the use of stone tools like the hand axe. They also made use of fire in perfecting the stone tools that they create. Agriculture was also improved during the Xia period. Plus, irrigation technology was also greatly improved. The production of earthen goods also took place. the use of ships and vehicles arose. The use of varnish became common practice. Silk production and weaving also took place during Xia Dynasty, as well as drilling and carving technology. But the most recognized innovation during the period was the creation of the calendar based on two different patterns. It was used both lunar and solar movement. The use of jet, bronze vessel, and bronze casting also became popular during Xia era. Move on to the fall of Xia Dynasty. Yu the Great ruled for about 45 years. Before his death, he named his son Qi as his successor. Yu wanted to name his minister as his successor, but so many people favor Qi that Yu has no choice but to let his son become the next king. Xia ended under the reign of Qi. He was the last emperor and known as the lacking emperor to rule the country, and said to have fallen in love with an evil, beautiful woman and became tyrant. According to other articles, after he succeeded to the throne, he lived an extravagant life day and night, without even thought of the country or its people. He even constructed a palace for his favorite woman and drank all night long. In addition, he killed a loyal minister who presented him with a good advice. All of his actions led to the falling of the Xia dynasty.